Well, this is going to be a big hurricane, and it's going to impact much of central and eastern Texas. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. They're all going to see some effects from this storm, but not as bad as folks here in southeast Texas, especially around the Matagorda County, Matagorda Bay area, even in Brazoria County. Let's get right to the watches from the National Hurricane Center. A hurricane watch is in effect for all counties of southeast Texas that border the Gulf of Mexico and counties that border the Galveston Bay area. That includes Harris County and Liberty County. And a hurricane watch means generally that hurricane conditions are possible within 36 to 48 hours. A tropical storm warning is already in effect for Cameron County and southwestern parts of Louisiana. Winds expected to increase there well ahead of the storm as we head through the next 24 hours. Well, Ike continues to get bigger across the Gulf of Mexico. There has been some erosion to the clouds on the western side. Not really sure if that's really impacting the intensification process, but we, again, expecting another update from the National Hurricane Center very shortly, but it has been headed off to the west-northwest. It was tugged northward by a trough of low pressure in the eastern United States out of the Caribbean into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, and we are expecting an area of high pressure to build across Texas over the next 24 hours, and that'll steer Ike more on a west-northwest track, but that high will be moving eastward by late Friday, early Saturday, and that's why a landfall in either the far northern parts of the middle Texas coast or the lower parts of the southeastern Texas coast, specifically the Matagorda County, Matagorda Bay area, is expected as we head through a little bit later on into the day on Friday night and into early on Saturday. Hurricane Ike right now has 100-mile-per-hour winds with gusts to 120. Atmospheric conditions are very favorable for further intensification, as are water temperatures. And the forecast from the National Hurricane Center has Ike at a Category 4 hurricane as it is approaching southeastern Texas, specifically Matagorda County, the county right in here. This is Galveston County, Harris County, Brazoria County. This is Matagorda County, and underneath the hurricane icon is Matagorda Bay. Now, that is expected as we head through very late Friday night into early Saturday morning. It is expected to maintain a very powerful wind field as it moves northward past Columbus and east of the Austin area, and a tropical depression as it moves into southeastern Oklahoma as we head into the early part of this upcoming week. Here's what we right now expect as far as winds across southeast Texas with the current path and the current forecast strength of the storm. Tropical storm force winds perhaps 45 miles per hour sustained in the far northeastern counties, northeastern Harris County down to Chambers County, as well as Montgomery County, 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Hurricane force winds across Galveston County into the southwestern half of Harris County and the Sugar Land area, Fort Bend out toward Brenham. 100-mile-per-hour winds or higher expected closer to where landfall is expected as we head through a little bit later on Friday night. Well, the big problem is going to be the storm surge. Well, it's not the only problem. It's going to be a major problem. With Ike expected to make landfall in Matagorda County, 10-foot storm surge expected in Port Bolivar, 12-foot storm surge expected in Galveston, same up at Clear Lake, as well as the Houston Ship Channel. 14-foot storm surge in San Luis Pass area. 14-foot storm surge as well as Freeport and Port O'Connor near where the center makes landfall. Matagorda Bay can see a storm surge as high as 22 feet above the mean sea level, and that could cause very catastrophic damage. Again, any change of that track a little bit closer or further from southeast Texas really can impact on how Ike will affect much of the viewing area. Rainfall potential is very high, 3 inches in the far eastern counties. Harris County eastern half 3 to 7, 8 to 10 inches from Houston back to Sugar Land, and 10 to 15 inches around right where Ike makes landfall.
But we begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan. Keith, what's the latest? Not looking good, right?
Well, not looking good. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's not looking good for Houston right now. Still some uncertainty in the final landfall, but Matagorda Bay area, Matagorda County right now looks to be the likely location for a landfall in about 54 hours from now. A hurricane watch is in effect for all of southeast Texas, all those counties that border the Gulf of Mexico and counties that border the Galveston Bay area, including Houston and Liberty counties. And what a hurricane watch means is that hurricane conditions are possible, and hurricanes have 74-mile-per-hour winds or higher within about 36 to 48 hours. Already we have a tropical storm warning that is in effect for the southwestern parishes of Louisiana, and that means tropical storm wind conditions, winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour, are likely within 24 hours. Well, right now we do have a growing Ike in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. The overall size of the storm has continued to increase, and it's not only the size of the cloud picture you're looking at, but also the size of the wind field. Hurricane force winds extend outward from the center 115 miles right now, and tropical storm force winds extend outward about 225 miles, and that storm is continuing to move off to the northwest at 8 miles per hour. Right now it's a Category 2 hurricane with maximum winds at 100 miles per hour. It is expected to intensify into a Category 4 hurricane by Friday afternoon with 135 mile per hour winds with gusts to 160. Again, right now landfall expected in the Matagorda Bay, Matagorda County area sometime around 3 or 4 a.m. Saturday morning, and of course it'll be weakening as it moves farther north. We've got big problems expected with the storm surge, also big problems expected with heavy rain as well as the winds. Don't focus on this track. We're going to be on the stronger side of the storm. And as you heard in my discussion a few minutes ago about how far these winds extend outward, we could be in for a serious hurricane threat here in southeast Texas. We'll have more coming up in just a couple minutes. Back to you.
Yeah, you got some of the new info in. We don't want to scare anyone here, but I mean, there's no reason to do that. But
no, the forecast, of course, is subject to change. The new numbers in from the National Hurricane Center have moved the track a little bit closer to the Houston area. Landfall right now expected late Friday night, early Saturday morning in Freeport now, in the Freeport area. That would bring the stronger winds a little bit closer to Houston and Galveston, and it also means a potentially larger storm surge as well as the stronger winds across the metro area. Let's take a look at the track. I just rendered this, so I'm not even sure exactly what it looks like, but there is some small good news here. Is it is expected to be strengthening only to a Category 3 hurricane right before landfall. Again, that'll be in the Freeport area. It'll be a tropical storm northwest of Houston by a little bit later on Friday night, and I think those numbers might be a little bit off. That should be Saturday night, and there's Saturday night and into early on Sunday. Again, landfall expected now move toward the Freeport area. Maximum sustained winds at landfall expected to be 125 miles per hour with gusts as high as 160 miles per hour. Storm surge flooding is going to be a big problem now, not so much for Matagorda Bay, but points from Matagorda County and off to the east. You should be rushing hurricane preparations to completion over the next 24 to 36 hours if we have that much time.